So it's huge for Madison County to get this interchange and to move forward with it. But I do want to kind of talk a little bit about the budget, because I know everybody likes roads and streets, and we can talk all day long and never have enough of money. And that's what the argument's always about, is money. It's, guys, we want our streets done. We want our roads. And it's arguments, disagreements among supervisors. It's not anything personal. It's just everybody is trying to do what they think and what they have committed, in the past. So it's not anything personally about it. That's just lack of money. But I'd like for y'all to just stop and think a minute. What do you think the total budget is for the county? You don't have to answer out loud. Just have something in your mind what you think that number may be. The total amount is $103 million. $103 million. Okay? Yeah, it started off at 83, 84 billion. Man, that's a ton of money. We ought to have all kinds of money for roads and streets and drainage. But I'm gonna kind of outline real quick. I'm not going into details, but I'm gonna go real quick. 12 million of that is just really bond money that not CMU. Man, I wish I hadn't even said that word. The nursing home, the county nursing home. They're paying off of their bond, so that's really $12 million. That affects that 103. And the other is the $8 million that the county borrowing to do some of these roads that we named off as well. So that leaves us around 83, 84 million. But I'm just going to name off real quick. Administration. That's the Board of Supervisors, County Administrator, Comptroller, Planning and Zoning, right at $19 million. That's the budget for that. Courts. A lot of times we forget about courts. Man, judges. We got to have judges, Chancery Court, Circuit Clerk, Youth Court. Guys, their budget is about 4.7 million. Debt service. Our debt service, that's where we borrow the money and we have to pay it back. Our debt service is right at $19 million, which is 18.5% of the budget. That's our debt service payment for this year. Economic development, about 700,000. Education, Holmes Community College, the libraries, is about $5 million. Okay, we move on down. The emergency management, about $500,000. Fire districts, we have, I guess, about 4 or 5 different fire districts in the county. This is the county, not the cities. The county's district, fire districts. We spend a little bit over $5 million, $5.6 million for that. Law enforcement. Guys, you have to take care of your law enforcement. If you do not have law enforcement, you do not have anything. So we have to take care of law enforcement. It's around a little over $15 million. The sheriff law enforcement, I'm going to break it down just a little bit. The sheriff department is $7.4 million we put towards the sheriff department.
Well, that's the 15. You said law enforcement was 15.
Yeah.
The sheriff's department.
That's part of the 15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just breaking it down a little bit.
Okay.
That's part of the 15, and the detention and the jail is approximately 5.6 million out of the 15 as well. But you have to take care of your law enforcement people. Moving on down, we got medical services, $500,000. Roads and streets, $25 million. That counts some of the streets that Supervisor Baxter was talking about, and I'm sure Supervisor Jones will talk about as well. That includes some of those roads. Social services, around $150,000. When you move on down again to the tax assessor, collector, their budget is about $3 million. So when you add that up, yeah, $83, $84 million is a lot of money, but it all doesn't go to roads and streets. A lot of it is passed through to take care of the other services as well. I know Supervisor Jones wants some time left. I don't want to take a whole lot, but I will answer questions. 1, 2, 3? If not, Supervisor Jones? Thank you.
Hey y'all, I'm Sheila Jones. I'm the supervisor for District 1. This is my second year as a supervisor, and I just have to tell you that this is a crazy job I have. Working with these men, they just don't do what I say. It's always a problem. So let me just, District 1 starts at County Line Road on the east side of the county and goes up through Madison, mostly following Rice Road until you get to Hoy. Then it jumps across to Tisdale. It keeps going up the east side on the east side, but you jump across to Tisdale, we cross over to 51 to Countryside Plantation, and I go on over to Parkway East. I have most of Parkway East, go all the way up to Gluckstadt, and everything in between is me. So I have everything from, you know, the Ridgeland Apartments, people in Madison, the Yandell flooding area. I have it all. And so it's really interesting and it's an interesting district, but I have to say that I have the best constituents because District 1 constituents really do not whine very much. They just want to go to work every day. They want to be able to get to work, drop their kids off at school or daycare, get to work, and come home, get their kids and go home. Really, that's all they want. So if any of you are District 1 constituents, I appreciate it. And most District 1 people know my cell phone number, so you can call me if you need me. Like I had someone out in off Clarkdale call me this past week. Somebody dumped their Christmas tree and they cut down a tree, and off the side of the road we got that cleaned up. So, you know, that's part of my job too. Trey and Gerald have both covered a lot of things. I want you just a little bit more to expound on Gerald's discussion about why money goes where it goes, because by the statute it's required. The millage is required to go this place in this percentage and that place in that percentage. So it's not like the five of us sit up there willy-nilly and say, well, this year we're going to do this amount in roads and this amount in firehouses. It's all statutory. They don't, you know, it's by law, so we don't have a whole lot of wiggle room, and none of us wants to go to jail. So we're trying to play by the rules. Trey's talked about roads, Gerald's talked about roads. Basically what we've accomplished so far in District 1 is we did what they're kind of sort of doing on Gluckstadt. We did about $1 million work on Yandell, adding turn lanes and trying to make the traffic flow, you know, like I just said, Yandell basically drops off, it's pretty low. We didn't have a lot of wiggle room, but one of my engineer friends out there told me, he said, Sheila, when you started this, I didn't think it was going to help a whole lot, but it's great. And I'm so glad you did it. So we're moving traffic a little bit better on the east side. We still have a problem with Weisenberger, and you know, Yandell kind of, I hate how these streets are one name, and as soon as they change names, but Yandell turns into Weisenberger after you cross 51, and then it zigs to the right. Weisenberger floods a lot, about once a year. It's in the floodplain, of course, just like the rest of Gluckstadt. But the major reason it floods, we've had a study now, the major reason it floods is because the box culvert under the railroad track is facing the wrong way. So it's pushing everything onto the road instead of down the creek. So, yeah, that's what's happening. And you know, have you ever seen the firemen out there in their waist, up to their waist in water, pulling somebody like me trying to drive through the water out of their car? So it's just a dangerous thing. If an electrical pole ever fell, somebody could get electrocuted. So we are going to, we're working on plans now for Weisenberger. They're actually going to have to turn, the culvert under the train tracks to redirect it and raise the asphalt, I think 3 feet, to get it out of the floodplain. It'll still be in the 25-year floodplain, but I can live with it. I mean, for what it's going to cost, which is between 1.3 million, 1.8 million, I can live with it flooding every 25 years. I can live with that. I hope you can too. That's what we got. Okay, so what else have we done over there? We redid Dave Brown Road, which is a little bitty road that goes onto Pearl River Church Road. And it's never been redone in my history anyway. I've been here since '87. And that's where I got my biggest kudos from. I don't know who's cutting through there, but we put a drain pipe under it so it wouldn't have a mud puddle, you know, 12 months out of the year, and it looks really nice, and so I'm getting a lot of kudos up there. And it was one of the worst roads in the neighborhood. My plan is kind of do the worst roads first, outside in the county. As far as the city's concerned, we partnered together with them. We did, in District 1, we did Hunters Point last year. Keep in mind, I think the other two supervisors said this, we contribute half of the money and the city gets the work done and then they just ask for reimbursement. So it's the city that's actually getting it going. And we appreciate that because we have our hands full out in the county. So this year we're going to do most of North Bay. And Paul probably knows all those roads for you North Bay people because I think he's the one that created the list. And we're going to do most of North Bay, and then there's a little neighborhood around the corner called Aspen Ridge. There are other neighborhoods in my district that need to be redone. You know, Winky, you've been waiting 23 years. We've been waiting 29 years. Our roads haven't been done in except for North Bay Drive, they haven't been done in 29 years. So we all have problems. And you understand the history behind this. Our road money in the past, before this administration came in, was not necessarily going to the roads. It was going to other things like airport studies and engineering. Yeah, engineering. So when we came in behind the 8 ball, and that's where we were. We also, when we came in, we also had this big $26 million lawsuit on Parkway East, which we won. Praise Jesus. And that first year, I know I was gun shy about bonding money for roads because I was worried about Parkway East. I didn't know how we were going to absorb a $26 million verdict. So anyway, after we got through Parkway East, we really started trying to put money on the roads this year. And so we're going to spend, the city's going to split with us, but we're going to spend about $1 million in District 1 this summer between the city and us, $500,000 each. And there's plenty more to do in District 1, trust me. Other things we've done is, right now Tisdale Road is being rebuilt, and that is a county project, even though it's in the city. The reason we're doing that is because Mary's going to use that as her bypass for all of us that live